All right, so today I have Gabby Perez, our sales manager. She's been with Otter PR for 3 years, and she is a sales expert. She's made over $2 million in sales at Otter PR, and $1 million of it was in the last year. So she's really ramped up and built an amazing team. She's helped us from the ground up. And Gabby, give it away. Introduce yourself.
Thanks, Scott. It's great to sit here with you today. I'm Gabby. I am our sales manager. For the past 3 years, I've been, helping build the sales team, and we've really come a long way. It's been such a ride, and I'm so excited to see just more and more of the growth. I've had 5+ years in sales, and the work that we've done here at Otter, it's really it's something that we can commend Jay and Scott for really paving the way, because I did definitely learn from the best.
So let's just talk about your career at Otter and what sales looks like and how you've helped implement new programs. Obviously, you're a sales expert at this point. You've helped develop programs from the ground up, which most people can't say they've done. And when you came in, I think that me and Jay, the other co-founder, were doing sales, and then we brought you in. So what was that education like? What was the learning curve on just starting off?
Well, it was not the easiest. We came in, and it was just like, met with you for the first time, and you were like, "Hey, you want to take my sales call at 12?" And I was like, okay, really, really nervous. But it was me getting pushed into doing that really allowed me to, kind of learn quickly. And then, there's been a lot of things, ups and downs, but, learning different softwares, incorporating different processes, making it easier for our sales team to have like a really great solid system that allows them to really focus on the core of what sales is like that relationship building with our clients and everything. Having those systems in place because of you and automation and everything has been super incredible.
So you took a big risk when you joined a startup. I think we had 10 employees at the time. You were going to be in the St. Pete office, but there was no St. Pete office. So you were the first hire on the hopes that the founders might actually maybe move there. What was that like? Why did you take the risk on a startup with, again, like 10 employees? What was going through your mind when you decided to do that?
I definitely, you hear these things about startups. They're like, you should always take a chance. I remember like having conversations with my mom and just being like, I'm going to take this. I had 2 job offers on the table, and I was kind of like, this company looks really cool. It seems like something a company that I can grow with and really learn a lot from. So it was definitely intimidating. It was definitely a little scary, but I don't want to change. I would never change anything.
You don't have to say the name of the company, but what was the other type of offer? Was it a bigger corporation? What were you looking at?
Bigger, way bigger corporate company, a lot more benefits that at that time Otter didn't have any benefits. Like benefits, corporate, all this time off, bigger things like base salary and commission structures were a lot different. I vibed and meshed with the team a lot better and the types of, it seemed too corporate for me, like the other company. So
awesome. So what was, obviously you came in, there's basically no training. We had, I think, one other person doing sales, and she kind of helped onboard you. What was a big takeaway where you could give people advice if they're going to take a risk on a startup that, typically you're not going to have as much training, you're not going to have as much help? What advice would you give to people?
Just ask questions, lots and lots of questions, be open-minded, be always like willing to, don't be afraid to ask questions really, because everyone's learning all together. So, don't ever get too comfortable, because there's definitely going to be things that change the following week or the following month, but it's the questions, and just really, don't be afraid to kind of speak up to the people that are managing you. Even though I had my managers were my founders at that time, but I would just say, just speak up and make sure you are being heard.
Why do you pick sales? Because your background's in communications, kind of PR side of things. Obviously, we're a PR firm, but why the sales side of it?
So I had really great experiences in college doing sales internships and communicating and being able to like hit numbers. And I kind of had that thrill of like hitting a number, and, it's very rewarding being in sales, just because it's really up to you and how much money you want to make and everything. It's up to you. So, and how hard you work at it. So I really like that aspect. I love communicating with people. One of my favorite things to do is just learn about people's backgrounds and their stories. So that's kind of why I went to sales. I thought I wanted to be a publicist, but then I was like, no, I think I like sales better.
What was your first sale? How long did it take?
Well, this one, My first sale it was like a phone close, actually.
Awesome.
Really cool. I did it from my apartment. It was before we had a St. Pete office. And yeah, I think I made like 3 sales in that first week, and it was just like, what did I just do? And then after that, it's kind of like it all came pretty naturally.
Yeah, it's easy when things are converting and set up for success. What do you think? What did that first sale feel like? And, was there anything that helped you close the deal?
I think it's just because I'm genuine, and I really had been from shadowing sales calls with you and other people on the team. I realized that having that genuine understanding of a business is really important in being able to sell something and just being transparent. So I truly was, in that moment, it was really cool. I was probably red and shaking in my voice. But
I remember my first sale. I was
just
excited.
oh my gosh, it's an adrenaline rush for sure. But yeah, it was super exciting.
All right. So that transition, you became a sales manager less than 3 years later. You have a team of 5 now?
Yeah, 4. Yeah, 5. We're
5.
hiring a new one.
So what were a couple of changes throughout the process, the aha moments of where you felt very comfortable? I know that you were really helpful in training people. What helped you ramp up that quickly? Because I know if you went with that corporate job, you probably would not be a sales manager at this point.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
What do you think really helped with that process?
Just because I knew it's as someone who's been with the company for, in the beginning stages of its growth and everything, I just got to learn really the ins and outs. So it naturally came easier for me to help train and help, the new sales reps coming in, really give them those detailed explanations of things and why things are certain ways that other people on our team don't really have the time for. So I'm kind of that person who I can sit there with one of our sales reps and really go through steps and processes and how to explain certain things. And I kind of, along with them, I'm also selling still. So it's fun to, be able to be a part of a team that's, really come a long way. We have some awesome people on our team.
So you came in with not a lot of process, and obviously we built out levels and levels of process and training and things like that now. What were some of the big aha moments or things that you did throughout the process where you really saw a difference in either just your workflow, your conversions, what made a big difference as you were learning?
Yeah, I mean, making sure that, things like messaging templates and all the automation that you put in, which I'd love to know kind of how I don't even know how your brain works, Scott. But the automations has been the one thing that's, I know I'm so thankful for, because I know a lot of companies do not have those in place. So I've been able to, and then us incorporating the CRM for a while. We had a CRM, we were not using it correctly. And trying to really, me and Louie did meetings with the people on ActiveCampaign and to try to really understand better the software so that we can use it and have our team follow it. Keeps everyone organized. So it's definitely been a game changer in everyone's organization and everything.
Perfect. For you guys listening, we use ActiveCampaign. A lot of our automations are through ActiveCampaign. We use some other kind of things that integrate with that. So sales message softwares like that are really helpful. I know that we have multiple touches. So what we tried to implement was basically, what would I do in my sales process? And then how can I automate this? Because if I'm texting everyone 2 days later saying, hey, just want to see how you're doing, or just, checking in on, I saw you open the proposal, I saw you didn't open the proposal. All those things are fully automated. So that was a big improvement, because that's just literally what I was doing. And I was like, well, I don't want to do this anymore. Why? It's the same message. I'm just changing someone's name. There's no reason not to automate it. Perfect. So that transition from individual contributor to then sales manager is, anytime you go from an individual contributor to a manager, it's very, very difficult for most people. What were some very hard things to do? And then what were some stuff that you enjoy?
So some of the hard things is just because it's almost like a hybrid position, because I do enjoy selling and I want to continue to help the team and incorporate, help with the sales, of course. So the one thing is just time management, being able to kind of get into the zone of, I'm actively selling. I have 8 calls today. I have to do all this, and then be able to kind of switch to, okay, now I'm helping this sales rep with this, or, I'm answering questions, as the main point of contact for a lot of sales related questions that our other staff members will have. Just being able to kind of switch back and forth from different modes, just because when I'm in my sales grind, it's I'm doing these calls, I'm going to follow up, now I'm going to block time, but then you get pulled in a bunch of different directions. So I'm still learning. It's still a work in progress and kind of managing But yeah, just keeping care of my like mental health has been key in being able to do this.
So you had a keyword for me, is this time blocking. So I know that you do some time blocking. So you take a lot of your leadership stuff on, I think, Monday mornings, and then you set up full days of sales and you kind of push people away because there's a full team of resources. So I think that's a critical part of it. And a lot of people have to learn that, especially if you're going to do a dual role, because you really are in a dual role. You're still selling. So you can't just be on the phone with your team every minute. So I think that's a critical part of it. What's really just, obviously you've made at least 70% of your sales, 50% of your sales in the last year. What's been that ramp up and that change? I know we have recurring revenue, which is a huge part of it.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
But what's been that transition? Because even with that recurring revenue, I know as a team, we've been doing a lot of training versus that first sale to retaining those customers. So how's your attention shifted a little bit?
So as I have more active recurring clients than, ever before, it's just about, again, time blocking times to, whether it's the end of the week or on my Monday admin days that I do take for myself to give myself some, time to get things done. I just make sure that that's what I'm, keeping up with, that I'm checking in, auditing Asana, looking at the PR client management. I'm really, I'm checking with publicists if I need to, if I see anything's a little off. And that's kind of what I, have shown our PR team to also do.
Yeah. Let's get tactical now. So you're on a sales call. You're trying to close the call. What do? What are there any magic words? What's your go-to? What's the strategy that you love to do?
So at the end of every call, I obviously try to make sure that there's something in place that's going to happen next, whether it's booking that follow-up call, making sure, one thing I did learn from one of our sales training was to make sure that you do, as you know, that a lot of people that we're getting on the phone with, they're shopping around, they're looking for other PR firms, interviewing. And so one of the things I do make sure that I ask is, hey, like before you come to that final decision, I want to make sure that we do what we are in contact, So that's kind of what I do at the end of a call. To close a call, I mean, that's a very different scenario every single time because our sales cycle can be anywhere from a phone close to, a 30-day, or even months because funding and things like that. So that's a little tricky. And if you have some pointers you want to share, be awesome.
So I've got a couple, and we've gone through it in training, and you mentioned one of them. So always make sure you get off the call and you have something else scheduled.
Yes.
So either you're scheduling a follow-up, whether it be an email, another Zoom meeting, and a phone call, you're supposed to call them in 2 days, a text message, whatever. You have something scheduled and they're expecting it, and you do it on time. That's one. For me, a big one was asking for the sale.
Yep.
How dumb is that I'm not asking, okay, are you guys ready to get started? Let's all we need is your credit card information.
Yeah.
That's how did you phone close? If you didn't ask for the sale, how did you phone close?
I black out? No, I'm joking. No, so one of the lines I do use is, what's your timeline on this? Something that you're ready to get started right now, or is it in next quarter? So I do use that line because I do want to know by the end of the call, I need to have some type of, what the next few months are going to look like, how much I'm going to be following up with them. So I do ask that line always is this a right now thing or is this a, next year thing? And sometimes it is. And I'm like, good thing I know this because now we can,
So I always try to ask for the sale on the call.
Yeah.
I think that was one thing that was silly, but hard for me to figure out. Like I'm doing all these sales calls and, I'm closing some, but I realized that I wasn't asking for the credit card over the phone. Why would I was like, I'll follow up with a link. Your conversion drops dramatically. People that might buy next year, if you just say, let's get you signed up. I've lost so many sales by either, if it's multiple people on there, no one asks. And then like you forget who was supposed to ask.
I know. Yeah.
I've lost sales like that, but I always get frustrated when I have a hot lead and I didn't ask for the credit card information.
I know.
I just take the credit card information.
One thing too, though, that also changed with phone closes is our price changed. So it was a lot easier when we were at a lower price point that to phone close. It's a lot easier to swallow a credit card payment of $2,000 in,
$1,000 versus $8,000 is a big difference. But the crazy thing is you still get them.
You still get them. Yeah, they still come, and I've done them before. In the past year, I've done a few. It really just depends, sometimes they're ready, sometimes I need to read contracts. And so it's not an always, but it's definitely still possible. So I like
my favorite phone close. I had just gotten off a call with a marketing agency who was trying to close me. And I said, basically, hey, I'm busy. Do you have something to sell me or not? And I was just like, I don't even know what we're doing here. Yeah. And they basically said, I guess not. And that was the end of the call. And I was like, why would they even get on the call with me? So I actually had a call 10 minutes later where I was selling someone, and the guy's like, hey, I'm really busy. Like, I have 5 minutes. Give me your elevator pitch. And I was like, boom, boom, boom. He paid $5,000, verbally committed to 3 months minimum on the phone, whole close, including in the credit card information in 1 minute.
Love that.
And I think
that's a record.
That's what a lot of salespeople are scared to do, though. And if you don't have, I think that's part of our success is we still do transparent pricing. And at some point, we'll probably get rid of the transparent pricing on the website, but we'll still have, our sales team will still have something that if someone's like, hey, what are your pricing? They should be able to show it instantly. Yeah. And I think that's critical is if you have 30 seconds, what's your elevator pitch? Even before this, we talked about your bio.
I know. You gave me my bio because I haven't really thought about it.
How do you introduce yourself? And I rewrite my bio for different platforms, but especially when you're an entrepreneur or business owner or salesperson, if I'm in an elevator, you should be able to sell me. Yeah. I think that's just it.
No, it's true. A lot of conversations happen on elevators.
All right, Gabby, what tips do you have for potential newbies in the sales world or experts or people that are just not quite getting it yet? What would you tell them and what advice would you give?
It's really important to shadow. It's really important to kind of see the different personalities. Let's say you are a new sales rep and on a new sales team. Getting to know everyone's personalities and learn how they are talking about the product allows you to, you're just getting like real time learning experience. So a lot of the work that a lot of what I learned was just from listening to Scott, taking some of his taglines and starting to, add my own vibe and energy to it. But yeah, no, just shadowing and making sure that you actually do care about what you're selling. That's huge. I always tell, my sales team that, you genuinely care about what you're selling and the type of person that you're also bringing on to work with our team. I think that's very important. And as we are seeing with retention and everything, the best clients are the ones that from the get-go, you actually cared about, ours, not only your service because you work for a company and but also the fact that this person's going to get to work with our PR team and the PR team's going to really enjoy working with them.
That personal relationship is huge. I mean, we've been so focused on building that longevity. For you guys that don't know, our services are month to month, but our average clients with us about a year. We have some clients that are 3 years at this point, and we're pretty much 3 years old. And that's really been our focus is how do we keep people happy, but also how do we build those relationships so they trust us ongoing? And I think that's a huge piece of it. A lot of salespeople miss that.
Yeah. And we like to do, the anniversary little gifts and awards that we make, if they've been featured in like top tier successes. So I love that we do that because it's a nice little reminder that we actually care about our clients.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, it's great having you listen. If you would like to reach out to Gabby, go ahead and hit Otter PR's website. You can ask for her specifically to handle your sales account, and we look forward to meeting you.